everyone, welcome back to the AH Robinson Talk YouTube channel, and welcome back to potentially one of the biggest videos this season. And it is time for the Premier League predictions for 2022-2023. We have our list of the 20 teams. We're not that far away from August, we're not that far away from the season kicking off, so it's time to get into it and get my predictions over the line. Before I get into it though, remember, this is totally subjective. This is my opinions. None of this will be true because I don't know anything about football. But these are my opinions. Give me your opinions down in the comment section below. If you do enjoy this though, please make sure you hit like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the AH Robinson Talk YouTube channel. As you can see, I'm a Bristol City fan, so I have absolutely no saying this whatsoever. I do not have a dog in the fight. So, before any further ado, let's get straight into it. So, in 20th place, and this really does hurt me, don't take any offence to this, AFC Bournemouth fans, because I have put your team in 20th place. Somebody has to come rock bottom. And I just feel like there's a lot going on at Bournemouth, but there's not a lot of incomings, nor has there been any notable outgoings. They've signed Ryan Fredericks. Is he any better than Jack Stacey or Adam Smith? Probably not. They've signed Joe Rothwell. Probably need another centre midfielder in there, so that seems as a sensible signing. Is he going to get into the starting 11 in the Premier League? Probably not. And I'm not wholly convinced on Scott Parker either. Obviously, they finished second last season, tailed away massively towards the back end of it, after having such a good start, but I just feel like this Premier League move is going to be a bit of a step up for them, and I can see them really struggling in this Premier League campaign. So that's why I've gone with AFC Bournemouth to be rock bottom. In 19th position, I've not gone with the newly promoted team. In fact, I've gone with Everton, who last season massively underachieved, finishing 16th in the Premier League, and there are a lot of concerns around the club with the financial situation. So how are Everton going to fare this season? I personally feel like they are going to come into the relegation, though. They're going to finish in the relegation zone. They've only brought in one player, and that's James Tarkowski on a 5-year contract. Is that really an upgrade on what they have? Maybe, perhaps. They do need more signings in, though, if they are for me to convince me that they're going to stay out of it. They've lost the likes of Senkatossen, Richarlison, which is a huge loss, John Joe Kenny and Fabian Delph. And again, I'm not wholly convinced on Frank Lampard either, on whether he can repeat the job he did last season by keeping them up. So that's why I've gone with Everton to be 19th position. Taking up the last relegation spot, I've gone with new boys, Fulham. And there again is a lot of moving parts at Fulham. Now we've got Marco Silva. Is he happy with the situation of the transfers? What's going to happen there? And they've only brought in one player so far in João Paulinho, who is a quality addition from Sporting Lisbon, but they need more, and they definitely need to add to that front line and that defence, centre backs especially. They've lost the likes of Fabio Carvalho. But that was expected, to be honest. Andrew Zampafanga-Kisa made his loan move from Napoli permanent one, and Jean-Michel Seri's left, and Nico Williams has gone back to Liverpool at the end of his loan, and it seems like he's going to go to another Premier League club as well. So again, I feel like Marco Silva has the qualities to make Fulham a competitive team, but I can just see them going through that trapdoor once again into the Championship. And not enough quality in that squad just yet, though. So that's why I've gone with Fulham to be back down in the Championship. That's the hard job out the way. Now we'll go on to the teams that are just going to survive. And finishing one place out of the relegation spot, I've gone with fellow Londoners, Brentford. Brentford, obviously, the massive elephant in the room is Christian Eriksen. And is he going to leave? It seems like he's verbally agreed a deal with Manchester United, so it almost looks like he's going to leave. So Brentford, Eriksen leaving is a huge loss. They've also lost Zanka and a few others, which are not really major losses. They brought in Aaron Hickey, they brought him in today, and it's a decent signing, but they need more. They obviously need more to assist the likes of Mbeumo, Tony, Wissa, Godos, whoever it is in that forward line. They need help. I feel like they do have enough quality, though, compared to the others who I've just put in there to survive or are quite stable in terms of Thomas Frank and in just terms of club stability. So that's why I've gone with Brentford to finish just one place outside the relegation zone, despite finishing 13th in the Premier League last campaign. 16th position and the final newly promoted team, I've gone with Nottingham Forest to finish 16th place. They obviously got promoted through the playoffs in the Championship after finishing 4th and have added quite significant quality into that team as well, like some Dean Henderson on loan from Manchester United, Taiwo Avogny from Union Berlin on a record signing, Niakate from Mainz, Julian Biancon, if I'm saying that right, from Troyes. They have, though, lost quite a few of the loan players that were quite key to them last season, like Jed Spence, James Garner, Kim Davis, Inkanagу, who's already gone to Olympiacos. Brice Samba's left the club, but that I think they should be fine because they've got Dean Henderson now. Horvath has gone out on loan to Luton and Max Lowe's gone back to Sheffield United. But I feel like they'll survive purely because of Steve Cooper's tactical nous and how good of a manager he is. And I feel like they have the momentum going to the Premier League after 23 years. So I feel like Nottingham Forest are going to survive in the Premier League. In 15th position, I've gone with Saints, the Southampton boys, and purely because I don't think they've added enough quality into that squad to bump them up a few positions. They've signed the likes of Gavin Bizanu, who was on loan at Pompey last season, Romeo Lavia from Manchester City, Armo Bella Kachop, I'm really butchering these names, Kotchap, I think it is, and they've lost the likes of Shane Long, Fraser Forster, Broge has gone back to Chelsea, and that is a key loss as well. If they are to stay up in the Premier League, I think James Ward-Prowse is absolutely essential to them. The leadership, the set pieces, the free kicks, everything, he's essential to them. And he's essential to Ralph Hasenhüttl, who might be caught out sometime soon in the Premier League if he is not careful, really, because Southampton have been on the down for a few seasons. So I've gone with Saints to finish 15th. In 14th position, I've gone with Leicester, and personally feel like they probably will outdo this, but I had to just throw one little shout in there. One of the main reasons why I put them in, to be honest, is because they've brought no one in so far, and Leicester signed some bloody players, because otherwise players like Yuri Tielemans, James Maddison are not going to be happy. They've lost Ademola Lookman, who was already on loan, so not really any major losses in terms of that. Not really losses they were not expecting to happen. They obviously need signings, and Yuri Tielemans, who's their star centre midfielder, has been linked with a move away to Arsenal, a few top European clubs, so they need to keep hold of him if they want to progress anyway. But I've had them dropping out 6 positions into the bottom half for Leicester. I feel like there's a bit of a wild shout, so yeah, if you disagree with this, let me know down in the comment section below. In 13th position, I've gone with Aston Villa, purely because I feel like they need a few more quality additions if they are to really hammer the top 10 door. They've signed Diego Carlos from Sevilla, Robin Olsen's made his move permanent, Coutinho the same, Glenn Kamara, Boubacar Kamara from Marseille's on a free transfer, Trezeguet's left on a permanent as well. Steven Gerrard needs to get them into the top 10, to be honest, but at this moment in time, from when I'm speaking, I feel like they need a few more additions to really hammer the top 10 door, and also a question whether Philippe Coutinho will have the same impact as he did last season. In 12th place, I've gone with Leeds United, obviously finished 17th last season, so there's a massive jump up from me, purely because they've added a lot of squad depth to that threadbare squad. They've signed Luis Sinisterra from Feyenoord, Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig, Giabi from Manchester City, Rasmus Christensen from RB Salzburg, Brennan Harrison from RB Salzburg, and Mark Rocker from Bayern Munich. They've lost Calvin Phillips, They've sent Roberts and Cresswell out on loan, but Calvin Phillips is a huge loss to them. But will they be able to mitigate that? I think they will. Mark Rocco's a very good player. No excuses now for Marsh. Surely he's got his players in through the door, a lot of RB Red Bull-based players, so they have to now push and really make good progress. In 11th place and just outside the top half, I've gone with Brighton and Hove Albion. Obviously, they finished 9th last season, so I have them dropping a few places, purely because they haven't really bought in anyone yet, and also have lost a key player in Yusuf Bissouma, and look to be losing a key player in Marc Cucurella as well. Still feel like they'll make progress under Potter despite dropping down a few positions, but there's a lot of competition in that top half, so that's why I've gone with Brighton in 11th. And into the top half go Crystal Palace. I put them in 10th position, ahead of their rivals, Brighton. They've brought in Sam Johnston, probably to be a backup to Vincente Guaita. They've brought in Malcolm Ebiowei, good young project. They've lost Conor Gallagher, which is a big loss, who's gone back to Chelsea. But I feel like they will start to make good progress under Patrick Vieira. Obviously finished 12th in the Premier League last season, which is a good achievement, but they need to start making a bit more progress. And now I've got the young players there who will really start to make a difference. I've got Zaha, Eze, Elise, Mateta, Edouard. I've got some experienced heads there as well, like MacArthur. They've got Milivojevic. So they've got a good mix, so I feel like they will make a good progress this season. That's why I've put Crystal Palace in the top half of the Premier League. In 9th position and dropping down 2 places, I've got West Ham United. Still in the top half, but I feel like they will have a slight drop-off. A couple of very good seasons under David Moyes, who has done a really good job there. I feel like they will have a slight drop-off. They've brought in Philin Downs. They've brought in Alphonse Areola on a permanent. They've brought in a Gerd from Stade Rennes, I think. So they've got the players there now to just pep up the quality a little bit. They've lost Ryan Fredericks, Yarmolenko, no real massive links to Declan Rice yet. So it has been a good summer so far for West Ham, but I feel like they'll have a slight drop-off. Also, they've got the Europa Conference League to deal with, which is not really as relevant as the Europa League. So that's why I've got West Ham dropping 2 places. In 8th place and jumping up 3 places from the last Premier League campaign, I've got Newcastle United. Now Newcastle, we all know they've got the money, but will it gel under Eddie Howe quickly enough to make real progress? I feel like it will make some progress. That's why I've got them jumping up 3 places. They've made Matt Targett a permanent. They've made the signing of Nick Pope. They've made the signing of Sven Botman. They've lost Freddie Woodman, and they've lost Isaac Hayden on loan. But that's not really major losses. And I feel like they will make progress. A couple more good additions into striking option, into forward areas, and I feel like they'll really hammer the door of European football, perhaps 6th, 7th. I feel like they'll just drop off though, which is purely because of the quality the other teams already have in there. In 7th position and jumping up 3 places yet again, I've got Wolves, and this may come as a bit of a surprise because Wolves haven't actually made a proper signing yet. But I just have a sneaky feeling about Wolves. I don't know why. Am I going mental? Probably. They've made Hwang Hee-chan a permanent deal. They've lost Kiana Hoover on loan. They've lost Romain Saiz, who was a key part of their last few seasons. They've lost Ruben Vinagre, and they've lost Fernando Marçal. But I feel like Bruno Lage is a very good manager, and I feel like he will make sure Wolves do progress in some sort of way. Maybe not 7th, but I do feel like they will come 7th. Maybe about 9th, maybe even 10th. I think that'd be a good result. But I do see them getting into 7th, which might surprise a few people. Now we're into the traditional big boy season in the Premier League and the traditional top 6. The team I see finishing bottom of that top 6 is Arsenal. And just purely because a certain other team had a massive underperformance last season. I see them doing quite well actually this season, or better than last season. They've signed Gabriel Jesus, Fabio Vieira, Matt Turner and Marquinhos. No, not that one. They have lost Alexander Lacazette on a free. Matteo Guendouzi's gone to Marseille and Kostas Mavropanos. Overall, I just don't see them balancing Europa League football and league football well enough to make progress and finish into top 6. Not top 6, top 4. I feel like they will finish 6th in the end. In 5th place, I've gone with Manchester United, and purely because they were massive underachievers last season. The squad they had at their disposal, which is not utilised correctly enough. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, both couldn't get the best out of that squad, when it really should have. They've now got Erik ten Hag, but he needs time and he needs to bed players in. They've only signed one player in Tyrell Malacia so far, so they need a few more additions. Frankie de Jong's been heavily linked as well. They've lost Nemanja Matic, Juan Mata, Dean Henderson's gone on loan, Paul Pogba's left, Cavani's left, and Lingard's left. So there's quite a lot of departures there, which they need to mitigate and get a few players in through the door quickly. But I do see them progressing one place, so that's why I put Manchester United 5th. Now we're into the top 4. You probably know who the 4 clubs are. Before I do get into the top 4 though, please make sure hit like on the video if I haven't already. Subscribe to the H Soccer YouTube channel for Bristol City content, which is what I predominantly do, but also Premier League, Championship, West England content as well. So in 4th place, dropping down 1 place actually, I've gone with Chelsea, and purely because they've not signed anyone yet. They will probably sign someone soon. They've agreed personal terms with Nathan Ake, so that will be announced sooner rather than later. But they've had some pretty big losses in Andreas Christensen and Tony Rudiger. They've also lost Jake Clark-Salter and Danny Drinkwater. Lukaku's gone out on loan back to Inter. But I do feel like Thomas Tuchel has enough quality in that squad, and he has enough tactical nous to get them into the top 4. So that's what I've gone with Chelsea to finish 4th. So now you know the top 3, and in 3rd position I've gone with Tottenham Hotspur. They will make progress on Antonio Conte, who is a fantastic manager, and they have made some very, very, very good signings so far. Clement Longley on loan, Fraser Forster, Charlison, Yves Bissouma, Ivan Perisic. They've not really had any major losses. They've only lost Steven Bergwijn to Ajax. But they've made some very, very, very good signings so far, which is why I think like Kane, Son, Kulusevski, they've already got quality there. And when you add the calibre of players I've just mentioned, there is going to be probably an improvement, and that's why I feel like more players will be attracted to Spurs now because they've got Champions League football. So that's why I've put Tottenham Hotspur in 3rd. The top 2 of the Premier League, the same top 2 that were there last season, and it really is a flip of a coin between Liverpool and Manchester City. It really is. I really can't separate them. I could just both give them 1st place. It just makes sense. But from gut feeling, just purely from gut feeling, and probably not much footballing sense, I've gone with Manchester City to finish 2nd. Purely because of gut feeling, to be brutally honest. I have a sneaky feeling about Liverpool this season. They've signed Calvin Phillips, Manchester City. Erling Haaland is a fantastic signing as well, who was a goal machine for Dortmund. Stefan Ortega has gone on a free transfer. They have lost Gabriel Jesus, Fernandinho, and look set to lose Raheem Sterling as well. But I just have a bit of a sneaky feeling about Liverpool, who I have put in 1st place. So, look, Liverpool are just ridiculous. They were a winning machine last season. Somehow didn't win the league, but I just feel like they've improved the squad a little bit more than Manchester City, which might be a risky statement, but I just feel like they bed the players in a bit more. They've bought Calvin Ramsey, Darwin Nunez for a lot of money. Fabio Carvalho's a very shrewd bit of business. They've lost Origi. Crucially, though, they've lost Sadio Mane, which is a massive, massive miss. But I feel like they will be able to mitigate that fact with that loss through Diaz, Nunez, Salah, Jota, all their star power in there already. So, yeah, that's why I think Liverpool win the league. Also because of mentality. They were brilliant last season. Got to basically 4 finals. Champions League final, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and took it to the final day of the Premier League season, really. And we're within winning it 4 minutes from time. And now this is an incredibly risky statement, but I don't care. I'm gonna say this Klopp is better than Pep. I can smell the comments already. But yeah, that's why I think Liverpool will finish above Manchester City. So these are my final predictions for the upcoming Premier League season on the screen right now. Bournemouth, Everton, Fulham, all to go down to the Championship. Brentford, Forest, Southampton, Leicester, Villa, Leeds, Brighton round out the bottom half, Palace, West Ham, Newcastle finish the top half, non-European places. Wolves, Arsenal in the sixth and seventh. Manchester United in fifth, and the top four of Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester City to finish second, and Liverpool to be champions. Again, these are totally subjective. If you let me know your predictions down in the comment section below, that will be deeply appreciated as well. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the AFC Bournemouth channel for more Bristol City content, which is the team I support. Also, Premier League, Championship, England content as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.